Today we are going to discuss the George coat of arms. But before we get started, we wanted to let you know that we offer genealogy research service at our website. Please visit us at coadb.com. First coat of arms to discuss is for George of Bawnton in County Gloucestershire. It was granted in 1528. There was Charles George of Baunton, alive in the year 1682, a justice of the peace, who was son of William George Esquire of Westminster, who was clerk of the wardrobe to King Charles I. Another for George of Bawdington in County Gloucestershire, a document dated to around 1520, possibly an earlier version of the aforementioned coat of arms. And it looks like one member of the family was John George, was Sheriff of Bristol. And this says they were all of Baunton, so I'm not sure what Bawdington is. Next, we have George of Cirencester in Gloucestershire. And we have Richard George, who was a member of Parliament, son of Christopher George. John George was a member of Parliament, born 1594. Next, same location, same family members. Not sure which coat of arms belonged to which member. Another not stated. Another from Cornwall for Sathiel Georges of Treenouth in Cornwall, England. He was born around the year 1570. Another not stated. One from Scotland that has Crest, the sun shining on a sunflower proper. George of Clophook in Queen's County, Ireland. Joshua George of Clophook, who died in 1730, had issue including Dennis George, who married Sarah Young and had several issue with her, including Captain Delaney George, Luke George, who was rector of Killiney, and Captain Sir Rupert George of Nova Scotia, who was created a baronet. And there was also, looks like, Dennis George, who was Recorder of Dublin and Baron of the Exchequer. Coat of arms confirmed to Andrew MacGeorge, born 1810, of Glenarn in Dumbarton, Scotland. He was a writer or lawyer. Coat of arms of Reverend William MacGeorge, minister of Harriet's, son of William MacGeorge. And it was also the arms of John MacGeorge of Cocklick, who lived in the 18th century, and also borne by John MacGeorge of Ouch, Roach, and Larg, who was born in 1660 and fought at the Battle of Boswell Bridge. Argent, a lion rampant within a border sable for St. George. Gules, a cross counter component, sable and argent between four lions rampant or for St. George. Another for St. George from Cambridgeshire, England. Another from Cambridgeshire, England, per fess vert argent, a lion rampant per fess or invert. I have a note here that says possibly the arms of Sir Baldwin St. George, who died in 1383. And another for St. George. Sir Baldwin St. George, born in 1362 of Hatley St. George in Cambridge, was a member of Parliament and the son of Sir Baldwin St. George. He was also born by Sir William St. George, a member of Parliament. And by Sir Richard George, born around the year 1550, who was the second son of Francis St. George Esquire. Now, an augmentation was granted to this coat of arms by Gustavus Adolphus, the King of Sweden, to Sir Henry St. George, who was born 1584. He was the son of Richard. And it was also, the augmentation was also granted to his son, Sir Thomas St. George, born 1615. Argent across gules for St. George. Here we have Sir George St. George, born around the year 1658. He was an Anglo-Irish politician, soldier, and peer, the son of Sir Oliver George, 1st Baronet. See it with a crescent, St. George of Woodgift in Kilkenny, Ireland. You had George St. George of Woodgift, a member of Parliament, and he was son of Henry St. George, who was an officer in the Irish army of Charles II. Also for St. George of Woodpack in Armagh, Ireland, Atchison St. George of Wood Park, born 1778. He was the son of Thomas St. George, a member of Parliament. Coat of arms for St. George from Salop or Shropshire, found in a document dated around the year 1525. Sable, a lion, border engrailed or. Argent, a fess between 3 lions, sable, documented around the year 1520. Coat of arms of St. George of Didisham in Devonshire, England. There was Rosamond St. George, daughter and co-heiress of this family, who married into the Bosom family. One from the island of St. Christopher. Ermine on a satire Gules, a leopard's face or. One for George of Bath, formerly of Norfolk. They were represented by Thomas Gethin George, lieutenant in the Royal Navy. And further back there was Philip George, town clerk of Bath. The arms of John George, born 1804, an Irish judge and politician, the eldest son of John George, a merchant of Dublin. Here we have the original arms of George. Argent, a whirlpool Azure. Looks like these were born for quite a while in feudal times. They were an Anglo-Norman family with lands southwest of England. The family descended from Ivo de Gorges, who died in 1236, who was a descendant of Ranulph. Another from Gloucestershire, England. One for Theobald Russell, alias George of Somerset. Started bearing this coat of arms in 1347. And it was also the arms of Baron George of Dundalk, a title in the peerage of Ireland created in 1620 for Sir Edward. Georges of Westminster and Hayes in Middlesex. Looks like they descended from Sir Fernando George of Ashton in Somerset. One from Devonshire. Azure 3 Byzants. And lastly, Gules 6 Masses Argent 3, 2, and 1. And if you enjoyed this video, please visit us at coadb.com, link in the description. Thank you very much.